Hello, how are you? I hope you're doing well. So I was working on talking about George Gascon today, actually for different reasons, just because of all the crime that's been happening in Los Angeles. By the way, I didn't mean to do two videos about Los Angeles today. I guess it's just popping off there. And this awful story came out. Awful story. And we're going to get into that in just a second. It's about three young people who lost their lives in a car accident. They were in the back of an Uber coming home from a concert, and they were hit by a man going 100 miles per hour. He was going through red lights, basically playing Russian roulette. And come to find, of course, he has a very lengthy rap sheet and was actually out on probation for attempted murder. So we're going to get into that. But first, you might ask yourself, how does someone like George Gascon even get elected? I think you could argue that he's been one of the most reckless DAs out of the entire history of Los Angeles. If I'm wrong, please challenge me. How could someone that's so pro-criminal get elected? Well, he uses a criminal justice reform, and it was really trendy at the time. They use race disparities and the fact that jails are overcrowded as a reason to decriminalize and to not prosecute crime. To them, that's helping. But here's where the issue is. When you do that, when you have a district attorney who is supposed to be the prosecutor, when you have them that are more on the sides of the criminal, when they're acting more like a public defender, now you have a terrible imbalance in the justice system, which causes what? Complete and utter chaos, which you could say that's what's happening in Los Angeles right now. Because why? So you have the public defender, that is the one who defends the person who's being accused of the crime, and then you have the prosecutor. That's the one who's supposed to prosecute the crime. You see what I'm saying? When you're not prosecuting crime, it's like having two public defender's office, and then who's there for the victims? And that has been the argument for a lot of people. And you know what I found just now, because I'm thinking, how does someone like this get elected? This story popped up on TMZ. Now, this came out December 10th. 2020. So this was right when George Gascon got elected. It was right around his first time in office. Here's the headline. LA County DA George Gascon, Kim K's goals are in line with mine. Sweeping criminal justice reform. And why did he say that? Well, she tweeted out this. And I'm pointing this out because it's a lot of wealthy, out-of-touch liberals that promote these things, or just young people that maybe grew up kind of sheltered or that don't understand the reality of things that they're voting for. And these policies, and we'll see this, they hurt the lower income, high crime neighborhoods more than anything. And here's a statistic too. So it is true that there is a racial disparity among people in jails, especially in Los Angeles. It's also true that the majority of we're going to take homicide because that's a good way to measure crime, because what happens is you get these DAs in, they decriminalize everything. That changes how it's categorized. Also, when people live in a high crime area where crimes aren't prosecuted, they're let right back out. To them, it's like, why would I even report this? But what you want to look at is the homicide rate, because there's only so much you can do there. You can't really fudge those numbers. So the majority of perpetrators in homicide are Black and Hispanic men, but the more important number is the majority. And when I say majority, I mean 90% of homicide victims in Los Angeles County are Black and Hispanic men. So now you're not prosecuting those crimes, or now crime is getting worse, chaos is getting worse. So what happened right after George Gascon got in office and started implementing his policies, which he did day one, like 20 directives, you had a 15-year high in homicide. So tell me, is that criminal justice reform or not? And that's the issue. So here's Kim Kardashian. Los Angeles County is the largest jail system in the county, and it's home to the largest jurisdiction in the state. These changes out of the DA's office are the change we've been waiting for, and I hope they have a ripple effect all across the country. More people will see the justice they deserve soon at George Gascon. Well, ma'am, that didn't age too well, now did it? No, it didn't. And here's why I don't care whether Republican or Democrat, I'm always very skeptical of celebrities when they try to endorse people or give me advice on how to vote, because as much as I like them and their art, the issue is most of them live completely different lives. Kim is very insulated from a lot of things. She has a security team. She lives in a gated community. Her life is totally insulated and different. If she wants to go to the mall, she can shut the mall down. If she wants to go to an amusement park, she can shut the amusement park down. You see what I'm saying? And what's interesting too, and then we'll move on to the story. One more thing about Kim Kardashian. She had a few years something really, really, really bad and awful and scary that she didn't deserve. She had something horrible happen to her where she, in fact, was victimized. So again, the fact that she would, I hate using the word simp. I just can't figure out a better word right now. The fact that she would endorse, I'll say that, someone like George Gascon, knowing his rap sheet now, is hypocritical, I guess you could say. All right, so this is the story that just happened, and this is infuriating. Suspect in deadly Los Angeles Uber crash is a gang member with a felony rap sheet who was put out on probation. A man suspected of crashing his car into an Uber at 100 miles per hour in Los Angeles, killing 3 passengers inside, has been revealed to have a lengthy rap sheet and was out on probation at the time of the murder case. 31-year-old Gregory Black is accused of crashing his vehicle on August 26 at the intersection of Vermont Ave and West Century Boulevard in Westmont, Los Angeles, into an Uber that was carrying 3 people, all 23, 23, 27. Black was said to have run a red light in his white Mercedes-Benz at 5:25 a.m. and T-boned the black Honda being used as an Uber vehicle, causing the car to spin around 5 times and killing all 3 or 4 passengers. LAPD Detective Ryan Moreno said that one of the women was ejected from the car. Investigators believe Black may have been trying to flee from something leading up to the crash. He's currently being held now on $4 million bail. So his rap sheet includes 11 felonies, and he was on, police said that Black had been out on a 5-year probation and has 11 felony charges and 3 convictions in those cases, and 4 misdemeanor charges and 1 conviction in all of those cases. Morano said the site looked like a bomb went off. He also said it's obvious when you see these videos that it's vehicular homicide all the way. You got an individual driving at speeds upwards of 100 miles per hour in a 35 mile per hour streets, blowing red lights, and ultimately basically playing roulette and hitting a car, T-boning the car. T-boning, I think, is like the worst way that you can be hit. So this is the type of chaos that ensues when you don't prosecute crime properly. Also, look at all the smash and grabs. And the truth about crime is most of it is the majority of crime is committed by a very small group of people. And this is what's happening with the smash and grabs, all those huge smash and grabs that are happening all around Los Angeles, California as a whole, actually. And when you look at those, they'll say, we're going to go out and get those guys. We're going to arrest them. And then they're out the next day. Sometimes the same day, actually many of them the same day. Like, they made a big deal about arresting some of these guys, and it's clear that this is a racket. They're going in, they're taking items, and then they're reselling them. Just like there was a big smash and grab with about 9 people at a Home Depot, and they were stealing equipment because they were gonna go and sell it again. These aren't people that are needy or poor. These are people that are hawking items and selling it. And what does that ultimately lead to? Stores leaving, desolate areas, and who pays the biggest bill? The victims and people that live in these low-income, high-crime neighborhoods and don't have the resources or funds for private security or to move to a better area. So there's that. I feel really bad for the families. There's a GoFundMe, and I will link that below. So Kimberly and Vero, okay, I will link that down below, the GoFundMe. I think they've already raised about $40,000. All right. Okay, you guys, thank you very much for watching. That's the story as of now. Again, I'll link the GoFundMe down below, and have a lovely day.